My friends, how are you? It is absolutely fantastic to see you for yet another video. And yesterday was a whirlwind of a day, wasn't it? If you woke up today and you felt like you might have spent the whole day yesterday drinking entirely too much, and there's parts of yesterday that you don't remember, and you also feel like you might have been involved in a fist fight this morning when you got up, well, then you feel like the rest of America feels right now, because yesterday was absolutely insane, my friends. There is not enough time for me in the day to record every nonsensical lunatic thing that Donald Trump does. Donald, I'm a truck driver. I work 70 hours a week. Can you chill a little bit and give me time to breathe between absolute bullshit that you're doing out there? My God, what all happened yesterday? Let's try to go through the list because it's extensive. Donald Trump was very upset that he didn't win the Nobel Peace Prize. Who knew that blowing up boats off the shores of Venezuela and turning the military against your own citizens was going to ensure that you didn't get that prize? My God, my friends, it's getting to the point in America where a fascist can't even win the Nobel Peace Prize. And I meant to say in the world there instead of in America, but I fucked it up. But we're going to keep on rolling because there was absolutely more nonsense going on yesterday. My God, what else was going on? Donald Trump got really angry at China, threw a temper tantrum, something having to do with them restricting the amount of rare earth minerals being exported from China, that caused Donald Trump to have yet another temper tantrum and said he's going to put an increase of 100% tariffs on China. And as if that whole thing hasn't fucking backfired already, but that caused the stock market to immediately go into a downward spiral because Donald Trump didn't learn the first time that he did that bullshit. But the thing with the, I know I'm talking fast, there's so much going on. The thing with the tariffs and China, look, I don't like saying this as an American citizen. Donald Trump has thoroughly gotten his ass kicked by China in these trade wars. That's why all the fucking farmers are broke right now. That's why the farmers can't sell a single soybean, because Donald Trump lost the trade war that he started. And on that note, everything going on with that, Donald Trump is bailing out Argentina with $20 billion and saying to the American farmers he might give them $10 billion as a bailout. America first, baby. Argentina gets more money than America's farmers after Donald Trump bankrupts America's farmers. Isn't that really something? But everything with the trade wars, Donald Trump has lost his ass on all of that. It is really bad. But there is an even bigger topic that happened yesterday, my friends. You thought that wasn't enough bullshit? Well, in Donald Trump's presidency, the bullshit never ends, my friends, because after all that had taken place, we get DUI hire Pete Hegseth sitting on TV talking about how we are going to open up a Qatari Air Force base in Idaho. And he just said it like it wasn't any kind of big deal whatsoever. And this has got the Trump supporters in quite the fucking pickle, my friends, because we know, my friends, we know that Trump supporters will defend him no matter what. They will make up an excuse for what is going on. Let's take yesterday, for example. As you guys know, thank you for everyone that came to watch that video yesterday. That one did very well for me. I was discussing the destruction of trucking under Donald Trump that is directly related to his trade wars. You should have seen the amount of Trump supporters in those comments, maybe you did, tying themselves up in fucking knots to try to explain this away. Oh, they went with old reliable, my friends. Joe Biden. I am sick to death of hearing about Joe Biden. And I challenged a few of them. Can you point to the Joe Biden policy that was directly harmful to the trucking industry in America? And we can discuss that and break that down. Well, he let all the damn illegals in. Oh, son of a bitch. We never get anywhere with these fucking Trump supporters, do we, my friends? It is absolutely frustrating. But we know that they will tie themselves up in knots to defend everything that he does. And for me, it would be embarrassing if it was me, but I think Donald Trump recognized that the whole MAGA movement was a bunch of submissive men that wanted to be told by their daddy how they feel and how they think, and he clearly took advantage of that situation, my friends. I got a lot of comments yesterday about saying my friends a lot in the videos. They were saying, you sound like a Middle Eastern cab cab driver, and I am not that. I am a Southwestern truck driver, but it's close enough, right? And I had a couple people say, dude, are you autistic? And the answer to that is, of course I am. I was circumcised after all. So if you don't get why that was fucking hilarious, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you, but yeah, we had a lot of fun making fun of me for saying my friends a lot yesterday. I don't mind. It's more of a filler word. It's like a nervous thing. You know what it's like to be a truck driver on this camera, where truck drivers want to fight me every day because I don't suck off their Lord and Savior Donald Trump? Yeah, I get a little bit nervous sometimes, but the point I'm trying to make is we know that they will twist themselves into knots to defend everything Donald Trump does, even with the Epstein files. And that is outright embarrassing, the amount of people that are coming out to support Donald Trump and his existence in the Epstein files and trying to make excuses for everything that is going on. But my friends, I think we have reached a bridge too far at this point, as Donald Trump has announced, or Pete Hegseth rather, has announced that the Qatari military will be setting up shop in Idaho, right in the middle of Trump country out there in Mountain Home, Idaho. I have been there many, many times, my friends, and this is such an interesting situation for quite a few reasons. You remember a few months ago, a lot of us were raising hell because Donald Trump took a bribe from the Qatari government in the form of a $400 million private jet. And anybody in the world that is concerned with corruption of the President of the United States of America, or doesn't have their head all the way up Donald Trump's ass, we were like, there's something wrong here that Donald Trump is taking this. There is some corruption that is going on. We feel like Donald Trump may be taking a bribe here, but we didn't know what the bribe was at the time, did we, my friends? No, we had no fucking clue what it was until just now. We finally figured it the fuck out, and that is allowing the Qatari military to set up a base on American soil. And this is something that is absolutely unheard of. Sure, there may be joint training sessions with other countries. There may be instances where we have allowed other countries' military to like come into America to train. I don't know that if that's true or not, but us allowing a military base from a Middle Eastern country in America is fucking heard of, all right? And this is one of those things that I think the Trump supporters are going to have a tough fucking time defending this one, because there is something greater than Donald Trump in the entire MAGA movement that he is going to have a hard time convincing them of otherwise, and that thing is hate, my friends. And look, you can look at Middle Eastern countries and you can have some hatred towards policies and things like that over there. That's up to you. I'm not well read necessarily on international issues and things like that, so you guys can all decide how you feel about these individual Middle Eastern countries. If you want somebody to give you good information about all of that, my suggestion would be Kyle Kalinske. He will tell you everything you need to fucking know. I'm not your guy. But what I do know, my friends, as a person that was raised amongst the rednecks, raised amongst the hillbillies, my friends, the hatred for Middle Eastern people runs fucking deep. And this all started with the, I don't know where it started exactly, but in my lifetime, when I really saw it become a very normal thing, was in George H.W. Bush's first war with Iraq. That's where we started hearing some absolutely wild shit from the rednecks about all the people over there. I'll tell you a little story, all right? When I was maybe 5 or 6, I was given a t-shirt for Christmas, right? Yeah, I got me a t-shirt. I opened it up, looked at my t-shirt, and it was a picture of a Middle Eastern man. This is no bullshit, okay? This is gonna sound real bad. Hear me out. It was a picture of a Middle Eastern man, you know, wearing their traditional outfits. I don't know what they're called. And he was hauling ass across the desert on a camel because a missile, I think they were Patriot missiles, I'm not really sure. The American missile was chasing him across the desert. And boy, when I opened that up, all the rednecks around me said, "Let us see your shirt, Josh." And I held it up and they were just laughing hysterically. It was the greatest shirt they'd ever seen. They said, you got to put on the shirt. And then we went over to Seymour Family later that day, and I walked in with my shirt, and this older lady, I don't remember which member of the family she was. The MAGA family doesn't like me much these days, as you could imagine. And she goes, oh my God, your shirt is just darling. Let me have a look at that shirt. Show her your shirt. Isn't that shirt the cutest thing ever? What fucking planet are we living on where we give a 5-year-old a war shirt where a missile is chasing a Middle Eastern person across the desert, and that shirt is considered to be darling and cute, my friends? But that is a hatred that runs fucking deep in that culture here in America. They love the idea of blowing up Middle Eastern people. So now Donald Trump has been bought and paid for by the Qatari government. We have to think about everything that's going on here. And I don't even understand the full scope of everything that's going on here, but I'm going to tell you the things that I understand, all right? So Donald Trump was bribed with this $400 million jet that the American taxpayer is paying for renovations on to make it secure enough to be an Air Force One. I don't know, do we really have to go through all that? I mean, can't we just give Donald Trump the plane? Do we really have to pay for the renovations is all that I'm fucking asking. I think it's a risk we're all willing to take, all right? Just fly around in your new private jet, Donnie. We don't have fun, have a ball. We don't care. Have a good time. But anyways, so he was given that, and then at the same time, all these business deals were being worked out between the Trump family and the Qatari government in the form of hotels, golf courses, things like that. Eric Trump is over there right now well, he may have came home, I don't know, but recently he was there working out a deal to get more Trump properties going over there in Qatar. Donald Trump recently gave Qatar UN levels of protection from the United States military, saying any act of violence against them would be considered an act of war against the United States. That may not be verbatim, but that is the level of protection Donald Trump has offered this government. And I feel like there's something else there. I feel like there's something else I'm missing. It was the business deals with the Trump family. It was the UN levels of protection. It was a plane for Donald Trump. And it is now allowing the Qatari military to set up shop in America. Oh, this is bad, my friends. This is really, really fucking bad, because the MAGA movement is going to have a hard time with this internally, like trying to figure out what they hate more and what they're going to do about it. And we're seeing a lot of the MAGA movement start to rise up against Donald Trump. I don't know specifically how far that's going to go, but we have to think of all these rural Americans that are pissed off that their hospitals are closing on them and their healthcare cost is tripling. All of these farmers all over America that are going bankrupt at the hand of Donald Trump and his trade wars that he has started. And now we've got this situation where a foreign military, Middle Eastern specifically, is setting up shop in fucking Idaho. My friends, their heads are going to explode with this shit. They are going to lose their fucking minds over this one. And I've always said, like, I've always talked about how Donald Trump's policies specifically attack the red states. Yeah, this one does too, Idaho. He, like I said at the beginning of the video, he knew they were gullible people. He knew they were submissive beta cucks when he took advantage of them this entire time. And he knew that they would just roll over and take it. There is a reason Donald Trump isn't trying to put that Air Force base in a fucking blue state. He ain't even gonna fuck with New Mexico over it. He's just going straight for, well, where's one of my submissive red states that's just gonna do what I tell him? And he is daring you to fucking say a word about it. That's what he's doing, and it is super, super fucking interesting. Now, obviously, this is disturbing to all Americans. From what I hear, from what I understand, remember I said I'm not well versed in like world affairs, things that are going on out there. But I have, from many sources, I have heard that the Qatari government is a big time funder of terrorism around the world. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. There's other people that know these things better than I do. But with so many people saying it, there may be a possibility that it is true. And this is also happening while Donald Trump is turning the United States military against the American people. Just the national security issue of the entire fucking thing is super fucking frightening, my friends. It's really something to think about. But I am interested in what is going on, because with all these things Donald Trump is doing, it really does feel like he's daring his base, his supporters, to speak up and say something to him. I dare you to say something to me. I'm going to steamroll your ass because you are my loyal supporters, and I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want to do to you. And that's exactly how he is treating his base right now. I'm going to take away your hospitals. I'm going to take away your finances. I'm going to take away your family farm. I'm going to take away your trucking job. Now I'm going to put a fucking military base in the middle of fucking Idaho from a foreign country, and you fucking tell me what you think you're going to do about it. And I wonder how much this is going to boil over. And it makes me sit here and wonder, is there going to come a point in America where the MAGA movement realizes they have to clean up their own mess? And what I mean by that is voting at the ballot box, assholes. I don't mean anything else by that, but I think that Donald Trump is 100% poking the bear to see what he can get away with. And this whole Qatari military thing in the middle of Idaho, this is not going to sit well with so much of the MAGA base. And we're either going to hear a lot of outrage about it, maybe forcing Donald Trump to taco on this situation, or we are going to learn more and more what submissive cucks the MAGA movement is if they allow this to continue without making some fucking noise about it. And yes, it's frightening for every American. This should not be happening. This is a huge national safety issue, and it should not be happening. But the MAGA movement is the ones with that deep-seated hatred for anybody that looks different from them, and Donald Trump is looking them right in the face and saying, do something about it, bitch. And that, to me, my friends, is super fucking interesting. Anyways, I gotta get back to work. Love you guys. Bye now.